Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Friday, June 13th, and this is the review or recap video for all trades and holdings within YieldMax Funds ULTY, which is the Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF, and LFGY, the Crypto Industry and Tech Portfolio Option Income ETF. Question came up at the last video about the payouts and the recent ones. If you've been watching the videos, for both of them, LFGY and ULTY have been 100% return of capital and 0% income. So we got to get that turned around. Had a huge day thanks to retire on dividends and all the people over there that came and checked me out. So we're up like 90 from yesterday. So greatly appreciated. And on this video, I'm going to try and get through the absolute ton of information as quick as I can. So we're not going to hit, all the details that we always do, but you're still going to leave knowing what's going on. So we'll start with trades. Just know that on Fridays, everything's getting rolled. So we don't need to talk about the options and percentages in and out of the money. There will be a week look-ahead video that comes out later in the weekend where we will dig into those details. But right now, all the holdings are backwards because they're the way they started for the day. All the trades swapped everything out, so we don't want to spend a ton of time on that. And as well, we don't want to look at every line by line because it'll be an absolute forever video. Just to give you an idea of what we're looking at trades-wise. As we scroll down through all the trades for YieldMax today, we get to ULTY, and it starts on line 366. And it goes to line 571, over 200 lines. Then we get to LFGY at 573, not quite as bad. 655, like 80 something lines. So you don't want to hear me read 280 lines of trades, so I'm going to sum them up as best I can, as quick as I can, to get the point across. So yesterday we had an enormous increase for ULTY shares, 5,375,000. So this fund just keeps growing. We're up over 74 million shares now. So with all that money that came in, they basically added on to every position they have within the fund. So that's the sum of this, and it comes out to be they spent $32 million. It doesn't exactly add up to the amount of shares because we also sold a little bit of RH, not the full position, and we completely sold out of FTAI. So you'll notice on the thumbnail, not only will you notice lots of red because it was an ugly day with Israel and Iran getting into it, but so you'll see lots of red and you'll see a line through FTAI because we sold out of that fund. All right. So again, we're not going to go line by line and talk about strike prices. We will do that in the look ahead video. This one would just get way too long, so I'm just going to tell you rolling our positions for APLD. So not to mention, right, so these are all rolls plus selling more positions to go along with the amount of shares that they picked up for each stock within the fund. Okay, so APLD was a profit of 188,000, APP a profit of 428,000. ASTS, they lost 653,000. Coinbase, they had already rolled them. That's why you don't see any buy into close. So this was just adding on to the position, 14,000. Same thing with Circle, 121,000. eToro, 96,000. First Solar, 26,000. FTAI, this was just closing things out. You notice we didn't. SS would be sell short or sell to open. So this was buying to close the calls that they had sold and selling the puts that they had purchased. So we are no longer dealing with FTAI. That was a loss of 22,000. Hims and Hers, profit of 323,000. Robinhood, a profit of 358,000. IonQ, a profit of $246,000. LabU, that's a triple leverage biotech fund, $126,000 profit. Mara, $211,000 profit. MicroStrategy, $225,000 profit. NVIDIA, $204,000 profit. Oklo, they've already rolled previously, so this was just adding on, $65,000. Palantir, $28,000. Reddit profit, $382,000. Rigetti's profit was $402,000. RH, that was a loss, right? They had to close these trades for $16.41. That's what they paid, and selling new ones for $2, $3, and $4. So lost $247,000. SMCI profit of $225,000. TEM, just adding on to the fund, $26,000. TNA profit of $162,000. TQQQ a profit of $245,000. Tesla has already been rolled previously. This is just an add-on, $43,000 profit. Upstart, $141,000 profit. Vertiv, $120,000 profit. And Vistra Corp, $168,000 profit. So trading-wise, it was a nice day. They profited $3.6 million in trades today. So in general, did a great job winning those trades on today's closeout. As we go through the fund and just look at how the stocks performed, so same thing. I'm not going to talk about the options at all, so we'll just tell this stock went up or down, the closing price, and the change in market value. So I will just say up or down for the dollar amounts, for the values, and just understand that those aren't profits or losses because they didn't sell the shares themselves. This is just whether the value went up or down. Circle had the biggest day for ULTY, going up 25.36%. And Applied Digital had the biggest loss with a 10.63% loss. So let's get into it. Applied dropped to 11.18 with that big loss, and it was $1 million decrease in value. AppLovin lost 4.23% to $364.49. That was a $547,000 decrease. AST Space Mobile up nearly 4% to $38.37. That was a $780,000 gain. Coinbase up 0.69 to $242.71. That was an $86,000 gain. Circle Group, right? This was the new one. We just got into them. Up 25%. Their calls were already sold out till next week. They're already 10% in the money, so that'll be trouble. But $133.56. It was a nearly $3 million increase in value. eToro Group lost 4% to $61.56. It was a $294,000 decrease. First Solar up 4.39% to $175.20. That's a $375,000 increase. We don't care about FTAI because we closed them out at some point during the day. Hims and Hers lost 2.92% to $55.48. It's a $617,000 decrease. Robinhood lost 1.68% to $72.60, $380,000 decrease. IonQ down 2.25% to $37.84. That was a $372,000 decrease. LabU down 2.94 to $58.76. It was a $332,000 decrease. Mara lost 4.93% to $15.04. It was a $666,000 decrease. MicroStrategy up 0.82% to $382.87, $133,000 increase. NVIDIA down 2.09% to $141.97, decreasing the value by $445,000. Oklo lost 1.27% to $63.66, $278,000 decrease. Palantir up 1.63% to $137.40. It's a $331,000 increase. Reddit up 1.7% to $118.80. 18, $358,000 increase. Rigetti lost almost 5.8% to 1140. That was a $798,000 decrease. RH up 6.93% to 189.12, increasing the value by over $1 million. SMCI down 4.15% to 41.56. There's a $552,000 decrease. Tempest up a fraction to 71.28, $9,000 increase. TNA, the triple leverage fund, down almost 5.5% to $30.53. There's an $800,000 decrease. Another almost $800,000 decrease on TQQQ with a loss of 3.78% to 72.83. Tesla up 1.94% to 325.31, a $440,000 increase. Upstart down 4.69% to 52.02, $938,000 loss of value. Vertiv down 3.08% to 110.97, a $285,000 decrease. And they almost got me. I've been talking about them every time. They always either go up or down together, but Vista Corp almost pulled it off, but they didn't. Down a fraction to 173.75, a $9,000 decrease. So overall, combining all of them, it was a $2.6 million decrease in value. And again, it was a realized profit of $3.6 million in trades. ULTY closed at 610. Again, we already talked about the shares. We're getting close to 75 million. Over the weekend, once everything gets to settle and there's not a trading day, everything will be perfect. We'll know the absolute current NAV. Basically, I find the NAV out the very next morning when the holdings comes out. So I'll download the holdings tomorrow. That'll give us the exact update, which will be, you'd think it'd be easy math, right? Because it would just be the decrease in value here combined with the increase in value from the trades, but it's not that easy. If people bought into the fund today, we don't find that out till tomorrow, as well as the closing price of every single option within it will be updated. So that's why we don't have it till the next day. Okay, if you're new here, we generally go line by line. We talk about how far in or out of the money the options are, but since they swap them all out on Fridays, there's no point in talking about it. There will be a video, again, looking ahead for the week that does do just that. Shows you the exact trading ranges we're looking for each stock to trade for us to make the maximum profits. All right, so that's it for ULTY. Also on that week look ahead, I'll also do the distribution guesstimate based on all the information we collected for the week. All right, next going over to LFGY. We'll start with the trades again. So we generally don't go line by line on their trades because they have so many, and sometimes they're as small as, sometimes there's one contract, sometimes it's, there's a 3. Things are $40. So I'll tell you the total of everything, and then the ones that I've put on the side are because these are full rolls to next week, so we will quickly touch on them. So Bitdeer rolled to next week, closed this week, rolled to next week. Looks like they won, right? Paying 5 cents to close out and selling the new ones for 31.19 cents. So it was a $71,000 profit. Clean Spark, same thing. Beautiful. Closing out for 1 penny. Can't do any better than that. Profiting 61,000. Coin just added on. Talking small change there. Coors up, profited 109,000 again, closing out for 8 cents. Really got more selling the other side, or the insurance side of the call. That doesn't make sense though. Why did we only pay 8 cents for 13s and we sold 1450s for 13 cents. They did not do these two trades at the same time. So that really worked in their favor. But anyway, profited 109,000. Hood swapped out the next week, right? Closing for 4 cents, selling for 68 and 88 cents. So $85,000 profit. Hut closing for 3 cents, another big win. Selling the new ones for 39 and 31 cents, 105,000. Mara, great job, closing for 2 cents, selling new ones for 18 and 28 cents, $127,000 profit. Within these two, right? If it wasn't so late, I'd go into some more of this stuff. They've got some day trades on some of these where they jumped in and out of things at the same time, and that throws me for a loop sometimes because I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting to close things that I was already knew we had. But anyway, Mara profited 127,000, closing for 2 cents. I almost already said that. 18 and 28. MicroStrategy profited 137,000, closing for 6 cents, opening for $3.50 to $4. That's awesome. NU profited 62,000, closing for a penny, opening for 30 cents. Nvidia profited 47,000, closing for 3 cents, opening for $2.17 and $2.36. PayPal profited 43,000, closing for 3 cents, opening for over $1. And again, if you're new here, I'm sorry, I'm not going into a whole lot of details. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I still have a whole nother video to make after this one. So this isn't the standard, but still just want to get the information out. Riot, $90,000 profit, closing for 6 cents, opening for 15 and 22. And finally, Tesla profited 75,000, closing for 6 cents, opening for $4 plus and $8 at the same strike price. $332.50 for June 20th. That's a pretty major swing throughout the day. Okay, so total all that up, and LFGY profited $827,000 trading today on their rolls. Again, we're not going to talk about options in or out of the money on this video. We will in the next. LFGY closed at 38.57. There was a decent increase in shares, bringing it up to 3.4 million. Roughly $131 million being managed in the fund. All right, BitDeer. Let's see quickly. PayPal was the biggest loser with 5.32% loss, and Tesla was the biggest winner with a 1.94%. As you saw on the thumbnail, there weren't many winners over here. Especially even GameStop technically got a green, but they were unchanged on the day, so they just didn't lose. All right, BitDeer lost 4.59% to $12.68, a $212,000 decrease in value. CleanSpark lost 4.22% to $9.30, $234,000 decrease in value. Coinbase up 0.69 to $242.71, a little over $100,000 gain. Core Scientific down 2.06 to $11.89, a $146,000 loss. Galaxy Digital lost about 3% to $18.84, $61,000 loss. GameStop was unchanged on the day, closing at $22.14. Robinhood lost 1.68% to $72.60, a $128,000 decrease in value. Hut 8 Corp lost nearly 4.8% to $17.48, $327,000 decrease in value. iBit or iShares Bit Trust ETF lost 1.58% to $59.74. It was a $196,000 decrease. Mara lost almost 5% to $15.04, over $500,000 lost. MBTX went down, but we don't care as far because they don't own any shares, so they just have a call spread and a put spread. So it kind of just is what it is. It didn't change the value of our fund. And these are One's out till next week. One's out till the last day of the year. So we'll be talking about that one for a long time. Mercado Libre up 0.13% to $2,371.98, $7,000 increase. MicroStrategy up 0.82% to $382.87, $114,000 increase. NU Holdings lost 0.83% to $11.90, a $40,000 decrease. Nvidia lost 2.09% to $141.97. It was a $74,000 decrease. Opera lost 2.95% to $18.43. It was a $162,000 decrease. PayPal down 5.32%. Again, the big loser for LFGY. $70.83 was the closing price and a $202,000 decrease in value. Riot Platforms down 4.8% to $972, a $302,000 decrease. Tesla, the big winner, 1.94% increase to $325.31. It was a $111,000 increase, and then we lost that $111,000 in value on block with a 3.57% decrease to $61.57. So all in all, the fund dropped in value by $2.3 million based on the shares of the underlying stocks held within it. Okay, so that's your update for Friday. Again, it's payday, so you probably got a couple of distributions deposited in your account if you hold both of these accounts or some of the others. I have these two plus YieldMax and YMag as my weeklies, so I got a couple of distributions there. But if you did, what'd you do with them? I buy more anytime the stock or the fund is below my cost average. I immediately put the money right back in. If it's not, I hold it and wait for a better opportunity to buy. So, all right, the only thing left is the dad joke of the day. So before I do, thank you, appreciate it, appreciate the big increase in subscribers. I hope you guys like the videos. Hopefully this isn't the only one you watch, because Fridays are rough, and with it being so late, I didn't put a whole lot into this one. The next one will be much better, but please stick around. All right, dad joke. What was Sherlock Holmes' favorite protein source? Mystery meat. My daughter was like, "Who's Sherlock Holmes?" All right, hope you did well trading, and hope you have a great weekend. There's the individual income fund video I'm getting ready to make. That'll come out as well. And then on Saturday, I make a video showing all the trades that I made throughout the week. So it's nothing to do with any of the professional traders. It's just my personal trades if you're interested. If not, whatever. And then on Sunday, I'll put out the week look ahead and the guesstimate for the distributions. So, okay, have a nice weekend. Goodbye.